Boogie Nights is a 1997 American period comedy drama film written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. It is set in Los Angeles' San Fernando Valley and focuses on a young nightclub dishwasher who becomes a popular star of pornographic films, chronicling his rise in the golden age of porn of the 1970s through his fall during the excesses of the 80s. The film is an expansion of Anderson's mockumentary short film The Dirk Diggler Story, done in 1988, and stars Mark Wahlberg, Julianne Moore, Burt Reynolds, Cheadle, John C. Reilly, William H. Macy, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Heather Graham. Boogie Nights premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival on September 11th, 1997, and was theatrically released on October 10th, 1997, garnering critical acclaim. It was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, including a Best Original Screenplay for Anderson, Best Supporting Actress for Moore, and Best Supporting Actor for Reynolds. The film's soundtrack also received acclaim. It has since been considered one of Anderson's best works and one of the best films of all time. Anderson wrote and directed a short mockumentary film called The Dirk Diggler Story. The short itself was based on the 1981 documentary Exhausted, John C. Holmes, the real story of a documentary about the life of legendary porn actor John Holmes, on whom Dirk Diggler is based. Holmes ranks among the most prolific adult film performers, with documented credits for at least 573 films. Holmes was best known for his exceptionally large penis, which was heavily promoted for its length and thickness. However, no documented measurements of Holmes' actual penis length, girth, sexual stamina, or ejaculate volume has ever been confirmed. Near the end of his life, Holmes attained notoriety for his reputed involvement in the Wonderline murders of July 1981, and eventually for his death of complications caused by AIDS in March 1988. He was the subject of several books and a lengthy essay in Rolling Stone and 2 feature-length documentaries, and he was the inspiration, of course, for 2 Hollywood movies, namely Boogie Nights and Wonderland, starring Val Kilmer. Now, Anderson originally wrote the role of Eddie, who of course becomes Dirk Diggler in the film, to be played by Leonardo DiCaprio, after seeing him in The Basketball Diaries. DiCaprio enjoyed the screenplay, but turned it down because he signed on to do Titanic. He recommended Mark Wahlberg for the role. DiCaprio would later say he wished he had done both films. Joaquin Phoenix was also offered the role of Eddie, but turned it down due to concerns about playing a porn star. Phoenix later collaborated with Anderson on the films The Master and Inherent Vice. Bill Murray, Harvey Keitel, Warren Beatty, Albert Brooks, and Sidney Pollack declined or were passed up on the role of Jack Horner, which eventually went to Burt Reynolds. After starring in Hard 8, Samuel L. Jackson declined the role of Buck Swap, which went to Don Cheadle. Anderson initially did not consider Heather Graham for the role of Roller Girl because he had never seen her do any nudity in a film before. However, Graham's agent called Anderson asking if she could read for the part, which she then won. Gwyneth Paltrow, Drew Barrymore, and Tatum O'Neal were also up for the role. After having a very difficult time getting his previous film, Hard 8, released, Anderson laid down a hard law when making Boogie Nights. He initially wanted the film to be over 3 hours long and be NC-17 rated. The film producers, particularly Michael DeLuca, said the film had to be either under 3 hours or rated R. Anderson fought with them, saying that the film would not have a mainstream appeal no matter what. They did not change their minds, however, and Anderson chose the R rating as a challenge. Despite this, the film was still 20 minutes shorter than promised. Burt Reynolds did not get along with Anderson while filming. After seeing a rough cut of the film, Reynolds fired his agent for recommending the film to him. Despite this, Reynolds won a Golden Globe Award and was nominated for an Academy Award for his performance. Later, Anderson wanted Reynolds to star in his next film, Magnolia, but Reynolds declined. In 2012, Reynolds denied rumors that he disliked the film, calling it extraordinary and saying that his opinion on it has nothing to do with his relationship with Anderson. Though at one point it got so heated between Reynolds and Paul Thomas Anderson because he felt that the director was disrespecting him and so threw a punch at the director. The film's first assistant, Don Wildermuth, tells the story. Burt got so frustrated, he pulled Paul outside into the backyard and started yelling at him like a father, you know. He was saying, "You little punk kid, you don't tell me what to do." All of a sudden, we saw fists flying. We saw some fists flying from Burt Reynolds. I hope I don't get into trouble for saying this, but it was like he was trying to punch the director in the face. Reynolds was also involved in a heated scuffle with Thomas Jane. In the DVD audio commentary, Anderson and Mark Wahlberg implied that Reynolds was on drugs during filming. Amber Waves, played by Julianne Moore in the film's custodial problems, were inspired by porn star Veronica Hart, who plays the judge during the scene in which Amber and her husband are arguing in the courtroom about their son. According to William H. Macy, his agent discouraged him from reading the script, but Macy read the script and loved it and signed on to do the film anyway. Electric Light Orchestra leader Jeff Lynne originally also refused to let his song Living Thing to be used in the film because he had a problem with the sex and violence in movies. Lynne asked to see a screening of the film and loved it so much that he allowed the song to be used in the end. The prosthetic prop used for Dirk's penis was kept by Mark Wahlberg as a souvenir from the film. It was made from an easily biodegradable rubber and foam combination, which according to Wahlberg has since begun to deteriorate. According to William H. Macy, the scene in which Dirk Diggler wins the Golden Phallus Award was filmed with about 100 extras who had shown up in their own 70s clothing. They weren't told what kind of movie they were in, however. They were only told that it featured Burt Reynolds. The crowd was told to applaud Melora Walters, announcing Diggler as the winner. However, Walters then added the line, "I can't wait to have his big cock in my pussy and my ass," which was met with stunned silence. About half of the extras got up and left the set, never to return. Gathering a new group of extras in a period of clothing caused substantial delays, so when filming finally resumed, director Paul Thomas Anderson carefully explained the scene to the new crowd so they knew what they were in for. Ironically, Walters uses a much more subdued line in the finished film. Adult film star Nina Hartley, who plays William H. Macy's character's wife, brought him to an adult film set to prepare him for the role. This was Robert Wrigley's final film. He plays the Colonel in the film. Despite the movie being an artistic success with an enduring legacy, three of the main stars have a complicated relationship with it. As discussed already, Burt Reynolds had a strained relationship with the director, but Mark Wahlberg, who's become a devoted Catholic and father in later years, once stated in an interview that he hoped God would forgive him for his poor career choices. He later claimed to be joking, but maintained that although he did not necessarily regret being in this movie, he would not be able to explain doing such subject matter to his children any longer. Heather Graham didn't get any meaningful roles for over a year after Boogie Nights was released and was seriously considering accepting a part in a softcore erotic movie. What saved her career from porn was an offer from Mike Myers to be in Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me in 1999. Graham has since refused to answer any questions about Boogie Nights or cooperate with retrospective or cast reunions. Now, this film is an absolute classic and hasn't dated a day since it was made in 1997. The performances are exceptional, it's a captivating storyline, and its ability to navigate sensitive subject matter while maintaining depth and authenticity is remarkable. The film boasts a huge ensemble cast, all of whom are excellent in their individual roles, but it is really led by a fantastic and strong performance here by Mark Wahlberg. Also, this film brings out the best in Burt Reynolds like we hadn't seen in years before it. We'd even seen the likes of Philip Seymour Hoffman, William H. Macy, Julianne Moore, John C. Reilly, Thomas Jane, Heather Graham, and of course a short little cameo from Alfred Molina. Just adds to the film's gravitas and uniqueness as a phenomenal piece of work and art. Paul Thomas Anderson really showcases his talent in creating an engrossing narrative that tackles themes of ambition, family, fame, and the consequences of reckless decisions. The film also provides an honest portrayal of the adult film industry during the time, highlighting the highs and many lows experienced by the characters of the time. The soundtrack too is absolutely mesmerizing and amazing and really just transports you back to the 1970s and early 80s. And even though the running length is almost 2 hours and 32 minutes long, it never really overstays its welcome, engrossing you from start to finish. Boogie Nights is a thought-provoking and engaging film that skillfully portrays the human experience amidst a unique and controversial backdrop. Its exceptional performances, combined with Paul Thomas Anderson's masterful direction, make it a landmark in film and the drama genre. And yes, even though the subject matter is of course controversial, I hope people look beyond that when they watch a film like this and realize that it's tastefully done, albeit not hiding away from its darker source material. This is a superbly written, beautifully directed, and phenomenally acted film that is a must-watch. Boogie Nights gets a 9.5 out of 10.